Okay, we got ourselves a clash that's about to take place here, Dave. You got Quadrant going up against Spacestation Gaming. Two teams that are vying for a championship opportunity, but only one can move on to the winner's final.
That's right, we got the most consistent team in the HCS in the form of Spacestation, and the #1 European team who have cemented themselves as one of the best teams in the world in Quadrant. This could be the highest place we've ever seen in EU history if Quadrant win this match.
History is on the line, and this is your series layout. Strongholds on Solitude, Slayer Live Fire, King of the Hill Recharge, and well, I'm too old to remember the last two ones, but it don't matter, because no matter what happens, Dave, we're gonna go to the distance. I feel it in my bones. I feel it all over the place. This is gonna be a massive, massive game.
Yeah, I hope we see game 4 and 5, which are Oddball in the Streets and Solitude Slayer. So Solitude on both bookends of this story. And let's go back one match, one event ago, GB. Stronghold Solitude is the only Strongholds match that Quadrant have lost in the whole HCS circuit. Is history gonna repeat itself? Is Lightning gonna strike twice?
We'll
or
find
Quadrant
out.
here to stick it out and show why they're the absolute best Strongholds team in the world?
All right, well, we're going to find out if that is going to be the case here, Dave. A lot of people are on pins and needles waiting for this one. Already out of the gate, though, it's going to be Quadrant establishing themselves with A and B control, but it's going to be a real fragile one for a moment there. StelluR with the snipe as well. He's got his sights set on the target by LR. He knew the one shot was there, and he finds his mark. That's going to be a flip over, and Spacestation have answered back.
Yeah, and they're not going to try to push this trip cap. Not here, not now. They need to clear out all these players. For a moment there, they had 3 dead. TchiK, the last one remaining. And StelluR has spotted out the spawns at loop, so he knows pressure's likely coming from Glass or LR.
StelluR's looking for a target. Doesn't manage to find one. You get 2 down now. 3 down. Actually, no, scratch that. 3 down now for Spacestation Gaming. And just as I say that, Quadrant doing everything right. That's going to be a flip on A and B control. Quadrant's going to start earning.
And that's a little scary. You saw quite a bit of control for Spacestation there for an extended period of time, and they only had about a 10-point lead. Now, let's see what Quadrant does that they have the setup. Looks like SLG goes down. Sica is being picked apart, but he is able to teleport around. Let's see if he decides to go for a counter over towards C, or decides to play a little defense. Looks like he's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place right now.
Hey, but he has the QT, so if he does need to get out of dodge, he could do so one more time if it's a bad fight, but he does not take that opportunity to do so. Instead, he's going to go down. Now it's going to be BC control here for Spacestation. His answer right back. It's going to be a small lead here for Quadrant ever so briefly. See now with Lqgend being trapped between 2 players here. The spawn's coming in on the cafe side. Hotel as well. That's where they're going to be pushing. You see those power items are going to be spawning up as well. So we got to see how these players are going to position for that.
Yep, and that's going to be StelluR grabbing the yard, getting a kill on Sica. Let's see what he does here. I like this play. Sometimes with yard, you're isolated and you can't do much to help the rest of your team. But instead, StelluR goes over towards this top ledge to help the rest of his team.
Yeah, and you are looking at the perspective of StelluR currently. You can see the little white arrow next to his name. There it goes. We got a switch. Thank you guys. Love you very much. And we now jump over to his POV. So, continuing to hold out around this area here, A-B control, pinning Quadrant, as you had mentioned, Dave, inside of the C area, and they haven't really been able to get out.
Well, that's the thing is, you got StelluR not only tricking the opposing team, he's also tricking us and the production team. Getting behind enemy lines and tricking all these members of Quadrant. He's just been behind enemy lines this entire time. So much damage. He's got to be on one heck of a spree right now. I believe he's on a 7-kill spree at this moment.
Impressive stuff there from the MVP of the regular season, Spacestation Gaming. Think about the journey that this team has been on. All these teams all season long, but both of these squads have world championship hopes in their minds. They came into this event, everyone did, but I feel like a lot of people going into this were like, there are top 4 teams in this competition, and the top 4 teams are here in the semis. It's Optic, FaZe, Quadrant, SSG, and we're being treated right now to really just SSG showing that they have put in that work to shut down Quadrant Stronghold.
Yeah, and Spacestation, they've been trading out kills back and forth there, and all because of that, they now have a 100-point lead. All these different jostlings of positions that we normally see from Quadrant as they're getting counter caps as they're pushing across the map have been effectively shut down.
Well,
so I'm not sure if these players have been studying or what against this Quadrant roster.
Well, I think that a lot of players, you know, in talking to a lot of the players that are out here in Seattle, They've all been telling me that. They've been putting in that work and seeing what Quadrant's been doing right. They really did write the book on how to play strongholds in Halo Infinite. So it makes sense that everyone is just doing the things that they do. Tackling sites, you know, one after another, but not necessarily at the same time, but kind of staggering it to really make your opponent continue to guess. And look, that is what Spacestation is doing right now. Quadrant getting a taste of their own medicine.
I'm also wondering if some of these players have been going on Duolingo to get a little learning of French as they're going through, like, what they call out in that situation? Man, do I gotta learn another language here just to get better at strongholds? Must do it because they're the best.
That's Halo, baby. I think. I don't know. All right, well, Spacestation Gaming continues to add on to their lead here, and it's quite sizable at this point in time. They're even going to go for a trip cap here as well, but there's going to be a shutdown for that one over toward A. Bound can't stay alive long enough, though. Trip cap comes in for just a brief moment as A is going to get flipped over. You got a few members down here for SSG. Let's see how Quadrant responds.
Yeah, StelluR has just been glued on top of that ledge, doing so much damage. MVP, put on MVP performance, almost taking out TchiK, but the damage has been done. TchiK gets cleared up, Sica's down, make it at 3 with Lqgend falling, and we now have a 125-point lead here for Spacestation.
And it's only going to continue to climb up if they keep playing like this. Pznguin now, top mid. Knows where the pressure is going to be coming from, but he looks away at the wrong time. He knew that they were going to be coming cafe because he saw that player jump over, but that was just some timing that ruined him. You hate to see it. Oh, Lqgend tried to go in for that melee, doesn't get it because of the really crafty dash that was used at that exact moment to avoid that and keep that fight going. And this has looked very good for Spacestation, as every single time Quadrant think they have an opening, an opportunity, it's Spacestation to answer back right away, just as we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and Spacestation clearly are outslain, but it hasn't been anything super extensively. I mean, we're not seeing them like outslay 2-1. The slays are within reason, within 10 kills. They've been outslain about by 30% more kills. And the score is nowhere near, so huge props to Spacestation for just slaying and being incredibly efficient with their slays.
If you're Quadrant, you don't want SSG to hit that 200-point threshold, but you have no choice but to accept it because Bound's got the snipe in the overlook position. You don't really have many angles to try and contest, and C and B control is going to be really difficult for this team to break out of here. And Bound's just pretty much not being contested, and he has the freedom to just do what he wants. I was just as I say that, but he'll go back for the peek again and get the headshot.
Those double backs, these players at this highest level are going to do that from a long range. When they're not being contested so closely, they're going to say, yeah, I'll take one more pot shot at this.
Bound continuing his life here. Sica inside of the hill. They do manage to get the trip cap for a moment here, and he goes right in for that no-scope, hits the body shot, but now we're going to see a flip coming in potentially here for Quadrant. Problem is that they haven't been comfortable the entire game. Every time they get a site flipped over, there's Spacestation answer right back. This time, they finally get a moment to breathe.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but this is one of those times for Quadrant, they essentially have to get that trip cap. They need to close that gap a little bit longer. You can't expect against a squad like Spacestation to just hold on to a 2-cap setup for 150 points.
I think they're doing it, man. They're trying to go for it, but TchiK needs to respond to this player here. Unfortunately, they lose Sica. He's got 2 players to deal with! And a massive double kill there for TchiK is going to keep the yard area cleared for him. Does he have any help? Oh my God! He wins another battle. TchiK is on fire.
That's going to be a trip cap still staying in effect. Now the question is, where are the spawns coming from? Looks like TchiK knows they're spawning over in the hotel or over in the market somehow. StelluR threading the needle on those shots from the pillar and finished off TchiK. That's going to be the opening. No, it's actually StelluR coming from behind that loop. I was wondering how he hit those shots from that doorway.
Yeah, and they're really just trying to get on them. They don't want to let anyone get on a hot streak here. You can't let TchiK do what he did, you know, for the rest of this game. Otherwise, Quadrant are going to be right back into this battle here, and SSG will be licking their wounds as we go to map 2. So they need to be mindful of the fact that even though you have this sizable lead, it could change at a moment's notice.
This gap is already closed, Golden Boy. It is now a 60-point game between these two.
Oh, that's a big win.
Spacestation are still 3 down. StelluR, the only one alive here is Spacestation. Gonna try to break out and not get them stuck in the spawn trap. And look at this, the same position TchiK was holding. Sica is holding now. He must know that if he's just a little bit down that ramp, he's generally blocking those loop spawns and those spawns down lower, LR. So brilliant play. Doesn't matter which player it is from Quadrant, they're all on the same page, hold the right positions.
Wow, that also was a great play that we saw there from Eco. He knew pressure was coming from the driveway, never exposed himself on the pillar, took the fight toward loop, and then had his teammate come from driveway to pick up that kill. SSG's right back in this one. After giving up a sizable amount of points here, SSG could very well win game 1.
Yes, and Quadrant drops 2 members. This could be the dagger.
10 points
3
left.
down. Lqgend, the hero, the only one alive, gets taken down by Pznguin. This one's looking like it's over, Golden Boy. 5 points remain.
Can anyone stop the bleeding? There was going to be an attempt there on B, but I don't think it's really going to matter all that much. And that is game 1. SSG strike first.
And you gotta wonder what ifs there, Golden Boy.
Oh, yeah.
What if you don't get down to a 160-point deficit early on? It took them too long to.
I have that
Well,
exact
how am I
picture.
supposed to talk when I see Elamite Jesus picture?
You don't have your Elamite Jesus picture?
I have it in candle form.
Okay, great. At least you have it. Oh, man. What a way to start things off. And let's not forget, Strongholds was the Quadrant game mode, and it still is.
Still is, but maybe
you're going-
Solitude, they're just not there yet,
That's
or you
true.
have to give credit where credit's due. Shopify Rebellion barely winning, what, a 250 to 249 at last event against Quadrant here. We saw the power of Quadrant when they get control, when they get things going. Just Space Station, they just got to such a strong lead.
If there was a team that would have beaten Quadrant on Strongholds, it would be the number 2 best team in the game mode. So that makes a lot of sense. But if you're a Quadrant, you have to be very frustrated with this because they
You want to start off
They
strong.
lost to FaZe on Strongholds. They nearly gave up a Strongholds, I think, against Navi, I want to say it was. And then on top of that, too, you had a loss here, 250 to 200 SSG. It has to be a little frustrating, but at this point now, you can't worry about it. You have to focus on this Slayer.
Yeah, you have to move on, but that is going to be a little tough here for Quadrant. They want to start off strong there, especially when you look at a game mode that's been so good for them. They want to hold on to that and start off the series. And yeah,
11?
Space Station already getting some momentum.
Wow.
11 straight Stronghold map wins in a row since Salt Lake City.
They're doing a Quadrant cosplay.
They have found the key to success there and rolling with it.
That is all you can ask from this SSG team. I think after the Invitational, everyone was like, oh, SSG on the up and up. And then we get to Fort Worth. Things kind of slow down a little bit. But in no way, shape, or form would you ever think that SSG isn't a championship contender. The way that they dominate opponents, the way that they control the map, this team has everything that it takes to move forward, but so does their opponent.
Yeah, and I know we said Quadrant in game 1. They absolutely need this game 2. It's pretty evenly matched based on their 2023 record. In 2023, Space Station are 8-7 on Livefire Slayer, whereas Quadrant are 7-5. So pretty evenly matched here, but not quite as evenly matched when we get to game 3, and I'll talk about the stats later.
Yeah, and we have Eco now. He doesn't really have much of a choice here. Can't really contend from this angle, so he's got to go help out his teammates to the side. That is going to allow them, though, to be able to get that overshield, which it looked like Quadrant were in a really good spot to do so, but Space Station is set up on the early days of that one, and they were able to lock it down.
Look at that target switching by Bound. Realizing that he has overshield, he's going in, laying down shots on the house or window player, trying to hit the other one behind the pillars. Every so often, he's making a quick slide and moving. He just has every single movement down. So impressive seeing how he infiltrates across enemy lines.
It's also been cool, too, to see how Bound has just grown as a player. You know, well, Bound and Pznguin, both of these guys have just done so much as individuals to contribute to this team, to contribute to this World Championship duo in StelluR and Eco that has really paid off for them all season long. They're keeping this one really close, though. Quadrant certainly benefiting from that early opening gambit there when they were able to lock up 2 kills in their early goings. So they're going to ride that lead, but as I always say, it's a fragile one here. And this is where things are going to get a little hairy here. And SLG was not aware of that player on the high ground.
Not ready, and they're just taking too many low routes here. And this is going to be tough. If all these players kind of stuck down low and they don't have anyone up high, they need to reposition over towards Garage. And it looks like that's the push that Quadrant are making right now.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's an overshield coming up in a few seconds. I want to jump into a listen-in with Space Station Gaming and hear how they're going to acquire this.
Dummy door.
Let's do that. Sorry, dummy door.
Master.
It got one shot.
Nice shot. Sick is on overshot, I think.
And screens as
Last
well.
guy on overshot. Watch out on it. Nice. They're gonna spawn A. Go fast.
Dude, I have a fucking recall.
We got it. Spawn green, dude. Green and cement was one shot.
Very
We
smart.
I have a shot.
gotta get you, Zane.
Let's try to put kill a 4.
Should wait for us, Zane.
Probably
I'm
okay.
waiting.
How many top
I think there's a guy here.
Training weak.
Watch out green.
Teller's one shot.
Look at pillars from bottom.
Back green, one shot.
There.
Two there.
And behind me, 8 off.
Check green, watch out green.
Top 8, top 1 box, top 1
Go
box.
one.
Check green, check green.
Cement, cement.
Yeah, green cell, green cell.
I hear you.
Heat wave, guys.
One shot.
Check green.
Three does.
Spawn in dummies, A in dummies probably. A in dummies probably.
About to wrap to Braden.
Once again, another calm, cool, collected SSG listening, and with that, they end up getting the lead by 2.
And you heard them debating, do we push in and charge for these kills, or we kind of keep them constricted here? You saw the same setup without the comms, where they're holding tower, they're holding top center and sandbags, and forcing the spawns over at green and garage. And just like that, Pznguin gets a double kill with the needle and a mind the gap.
Hit him with the purple knit. I love it. Every single time I get to see him throw a kill. Makes me happy. Brings me joy in my life. 5 kills now here. Spacestation have been able to peel away this lead away from Quadrant. As I had mentioned before, Quadrant, they had that really strong start at the beginning of it, but ever since then, it has been the coordination of SSG that has come out on top here, but a great battle win by TchiK.
Yeah, TchiK getting a win there, but the rest of his teammates falling in that position, and it's a bit surprising. It feels like even the times when Space Station are blocking the spawns at green and holding there, they don't have great avenues to get out of garage. It feels like this entire time they've been constricted to this opposite side of the map.
Yeah.
I've yet to see Quadrant get somebody at tower for the last 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon because, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so there was a trade there. Eco manages to get the body shot. Just heard overshield coming up. It is going to get grabbed, back whack for Bound. Another overshield picked up there for SSG, but there was a call that it was not picked up quite yet, and it gets popped right at the nick of time as Bound's able to get that kill. Loses the overshield in the process, but should be able to get 2 for his efforts, which he does.
Yep, and all the way he is sliding on over, taking up more cover. Every single time you notice that he's not content just hitting his shots, he's always moving to a new location as he's hitting these shots.
Hey, Dave, they're at tower now. Look at that.
We're gonna see if that turns into anything. I mean, it is a 6-kill game right now. That's a little scary, but also not insurmountable. But also not helpful when we're seeing all these 1v1 wins.
Yeah, that was something I was going to point out just now, is that we're getting a lot of these fights that are happening isolated away from everything else. And Quadrant, in the previous series that we watched them play against Native Red, they were doing an excellent job of backing each other up and always taking fights as a duo or having someone there to pick up the kill. This time around, Space Station has scattered them. It's like the lights turned on and they scattered away.
Let's see what happens here. Seems like the same story since the whole time. And oh my gosh, gets the back smack on TchiK, knowing that someone's going to come through the tunnel there. Didn't expect to get a back smack though. Likely expecting to trade just melee damage.
All right, Quadrant has to, I think at this point, you know, I would say slow it down, but most importantly, above all else, just play together, because I think we're seeing them take so many fights separately. I would just want them to play alone here, play together, work with each other, and just try and isolate some of these players here from SSG.
Slows down, like you said. That's got to be a little more helpful here for Quadrant. They also have control of tower. Down by 8, but we're going to see what happens here in these next 10 seconds as we got Camo and new sniper, or Overshield and new sniper popping up. Bound, the first one to go down. Using that playmaker here. StelluR, the MVP, also taken out. Is this going to be the opening that Quadrant needs?
StelluR's job there was to handle all of those pesky players that are going to be coming out of the dummy doors as well as short, but he ends up dying there. And I think we saw an Overshield attempted pop, but then died immediately, and it was picked up by Lqgend. This is huge now with 7 kills. You can't come back. You get a round of slays on this one, and you're in this matchup.
Yeah, this one is not over yet. We got a sniper. We got an Overshield in the hands of Lqgend. Now, what can he do with it? He's going to get some kills. It's just how many and how much damage do you take?
He's looking for the mark. Finds one. That's a good target for him. Now Lqgend's looking for another. The call's been made, so they know that the attention's going to be here. The sniper, the overshield, you know that those comms were coming through there, so they're going to be a little mindful of it, but as I say that, turns out not the case, because Lqgend's living up to his name. Looking for another shot, but he's going to wisely enough back away. We're now down to 4.
Gap closed down to 4, still has 5 bullets left in the sniper, and they had them
they're all outdoor.
Stuck in the garage. How's Lqgend play this? He knows that they're all trying towards him. Somehow hits a headshot to StelluR.
But they got to follow it up. They only have 5 kills to catch up on. I say only, but it's 45-40, so if anything, this is where things are going to be a little hairy here. He goes down, pressured! Oh my word, he just hit him with a clothesline from hell. That was amazing. Now he goes looking for another target here, but he does not find it. Instead, it's going to be TchiK who gets the mark on his man. 47-42, 3 kills left for SSG.
This is the difficult time. Spacestation happy to trade out damage, trade out kills. Right there, just tossing a desperate grenade. StelluR MVP also gets taken down. That's a big opening right here. Third player falls down in the form of Bound. They got a spawn trap here over at green. How does Quadrant decide to play it? It looks like they're charging for the kills. This is gonna get some messy spawns, but it could result in 2 free kills there for Quadrant, and it does. Tie game, Golden Boy.
Ruh-roh, Raggy, this isn't good because it looked like Spacestation were gonna lock up the game, but instead it's Quadrant now coming back. Oh my word, what a win against the MVP. The overshield's gonna come up here, but the kill comes through at the last second, and it's 50-48 SSG. Whew, what a game we just saw from Spacestation as well as from the boys over in Quadrant. This series has delivered time and time again, and it just started. I feel like it just started.
Insanely close, but it feels like every single time just Quadrant aren't able to get that initial step, that initial lead, that initial maybe even positioning that they need.
It's the initials, right?
It's the very start, the first few minutes, the first third of the game.
What do they do after they successfully start with their opening strat? Because that's what happened this time around. They were able to get 3 kills right out of the gate. You're like, oh, hey, this is looking pretty good for Quadrant. And then you look on the other side, and it's SSG. They're like, you can have those 3 kills. We're gonna get OS, we're gonna get Heatwave, we're gonna get Sniper, and we're just gonna come up in this game. So if anything, I feel like, yeah, you're right. The opening is solid for Quadrant, but it really is like that mid game. They have to bounce back faster, otherwise they find themselves needing to come back yet again.
Yeah, just getting to too many deficits here, but look at this. Legend and StelluR, the 2 top dogs of both these squads. Legend coming out having that engagement, but shortly after his teammates fall, as you see a 3-on-2 over at the tower.
Oh, and those 2 kills came in quick succession, thanks to Pznguin and Eco. And there you have it. So, if you see the scoreline here, kind of the tale of the tape for SSG. Close games, still winning. One of the most consistent teams in the league. How do you stop them? You got to do it here, Quadrant. You have to bounce back now. Your only choice is a reverse sweep in order for you to make history for European Halo.
Yeah, reverse sweep is going to be their best chance. However, it needs to start here. Clearly, this is a must-win game. However, stats are not looking as good for Quadrant. When we look at these teams' records here on Recharge King of the Hill, Spacestation, 7-2 record. Quadrant, 1-4.
Oof. Can I get an oof in the chat? Man, that's a little rough, won't lie. And I think, if anything, that should give a lot of SSG fans, sigh of relief, but it's Quadrant. And I feel like this team, even though the stats may not be in their favor, they will find a way, Dave.
This Quadrant roster out of Europe has been strategizing so incredibly well. They don't get the same level of practice as we do out here in the US, of consistent top teams and top players.
Been out here the whole time.
And one thing
now.
we have, they've been out here for a couple of weeks. They've been grinding. I believe they did a boot camp out in Texas. And one thing to take away is we always keep talking about how these other teams are picking apart the strategies and adjusting to what Quadrant have been doing and taking away the stronghold strats. We have been talking about what have Quadrant been doing behind the scenes to fix maybe some errors on something like King of the Hill or Recharge King of the Hill. So let's see if they can come through here on game number 3, fix up anything that's been going wrong in the past, and start a historic reverse sweep, because they need this game or they are getting down to the elimination bracket.
Some of the players to keep an eye on here, even though TchiK had a few moments of brilliance in game 1, you also got to look at the man who does it all, Pznguin, who just handles the business, gets the kills, gets the caps, does everything that you need on this team. Dave,
also, I'm like, we did TchiK dirty here. It's like, hey, TchiK, look at the camera for this. Like, is this good? Am I gonna be looking at a great shot here? Like, no, we're gonna put like bad stats next to you in that one.
But that is a good smoldering headshot, though.
It's a great headshot. Don't get me wrong, but like, if he knew, if we knew we were gonna put next to some stats where it's like doesn't reflect how incredible a player he is, he would have put a different face.
Now think about it like this: imagine him looking like me, and then looking like him with those stats. I'd rather take him looking like that with those stats than me. All right, could be it. A 3-0 sweep on the table, or the start of a historic reverse sweep. We'll find out in just a little bit, or, you know, it could very well be a 3-1, which in that case, forget the narrative. But I do think that no matter what happens here, this one will go down to the wire, because King of the Hill we've seen some insane games on top. And what an opening here for SSG, shutting down the players pushing over toward blue side and just denying them any kind of positioning whatsoever.
They did a 3-1 charge. They sent 3 members of Space Station through control. 1 player holding out in the center, getting ready to grab camo after. And because of it, they just ran through all these players at Quadrant into the control and Hydro.
An incredibly scary start here for Quadrant, if we're being honest with ourselves. That is not what they wanted, especially after these last 2 maps. But they were waiting, trying to suss out where this camo player is going to be, and they did identify StelluR, but they'll continue to hold this one down. Now here comes the opportunity for the push. As StelluR got an angle, he thought that there was a player going to be top tower, but instead he ends up being caught looking on that one.
Yeah, he also did what I would categorize in early Halo as like, you see a grenade and if you slip past a grenade explosion, you know you are past what they're expecting. Like there's a lot of times if you see someone throw a grenade and you slip past it, you might as well take that avenue because someone's gonna be looking away. So he saw the opportunity, took it because it was given, and then kind of put himself in the corner. It's like, oh man, like I don't know if I actually want to be here now.
Yeah, it's those little moments, right, where you think you have the right call, the right play. Even in that instance there, Bound, he was just doing everything he could to just try and stop SLG from getting inside of the tower, but SLG's running rough shot on everyone, gets himself a triple kill.
Huge trip. Now he's going back to block Hydro a little bit and now getting ready to help over on elevator side. Feels like this is coming out a little delayed though. Doesn't seem like Quadrant have as much support to shoot towards this pistol pit or towards Needler as his team's trying to grab this hill. And now they're back in, but at what cost? They had a full setup. They could have been anywhere they want, and they aren't grabbing that time. They gave Space Station all the time to push out, and they got all the kills now.
Yep, sure did. They got 2 down, 3 down now, with TchiK being the last player left alive. Is anyone going to be there to try and stop this? Camo's been secured now yet again for SSG. There has been a kill there from TchiK, but he's going to die immediately after that. Sica off the respawn.
Overkill for Bound.
Overkill for Bound is going to lock down that first point, and SSG is on the board.
Space Station not only on the board, but they have control of the next hill. Eco realizing pressure coming from this direction, so he's going to rotate on over towards the pipes and see what he can find. Gets the first few shots on SLG and finishes the kill.
They had to eliminate that camo player though, and they did identify where he was. Eco, not long for this world, with that power item in his hand. Oh, that's unfortunate for Bound, losing that battle in the whirlpool. Happens to the best of us though. Big win there for TchiK. Does get taken out with a remote detonation that comes through with the shots on the other side, so clever play there for sure. SSG looking to remove Quadrant from this back portion of the site, but with those 2 kills coming in, I don't really see that happening unless that player on the flank can have an answer, and he does.
Looking at that POV though, you saw Pznguin looking towards SLG. You saw Bound chasing SLG. SLG got a double kill and had the remaining 2 members looking his direction. You can't ask for more of a distraction and support from one of your teammates than what we just witnessed there.
Yeah, and all in an effort to just pull this attention. So well done, excuse me, by the one and only SLG, who's had what an incredible career, for being completely frank with you, in European Halo. Continues to add on to his accolades here, but unfortunately, SSG does not care about your accolades, as they'll go ahead and punch you right in the mouth. They don't care. They'll grab whatever they need, and they do just that. So this is going to be SSG now with control. They have shock rifle over toward long haul. Spawns are coming over toward elevator, and this push is going to have to come through, but they're going to be met with a lot of resistance, Dave.
Yeah, this one's going to be tough. I mean, they know the spawns are on an elevator, and look at this slight repositioning. StelluR in the perfect spot before when they were all stuck over at elevator, realizing that the push hadn't come through, and then rotates over towards Sneaky. Now just delaying and doing so much damage, eventually takes out TchiK.
That camo's still available as well. No one's gone for it. 2 players down now, only 1 down for SSG. And yet again, it's going to be SSG grabbing the camouflage and using it to great effect here. It's been pretty much the name of the game for them in this one, where they have controlled the power items completely. Quadrant have not had any opportunity to be able to use those. And this is very well going to be that second point locked in if they can manage to get a body in there in time, which they should be able to. But even then, though, these spawns are going to be on the opposite side, and that is 2.
Look at how one step ahead Space Station are there. They realized those players were pushing the pipes to get an angle from Bat Ledge or from top gold, and they meet them over at the pipes. they fight them at the pipes where they're not even expecting the battle.
Yeah, because you would think at that time the rotation's going to come through, but then this is when your opportunity to push. SSG had a great read on that, and they're going to be benefiting greatly from this. And they're already at the halfway point, Dave. This is looking like utter domination from SSG, not what I was expecting at all.
And that has to hurt so much from Quadrant too, because during that last push where they pushed out the pipes, they spawned at elevator. They said, we're going to make one last ditch effort to try to stop this C-plat hill. They leave elevator, they push towards pipe, they push towards control, they get wiped, and then they lose the elevator spawns. And because of that, Spacestation got half of the hill captured immediately.
Yeah, but just as, you know, they were able to do that, that last play managed to get Quadrant a little bit back into this. The issue is, it never really felt like they were playing from a position of strength. Whereas SSG knew exactly what they wanted to do as they made that push happen and they locked this one down. They can get this third point and it seems like no one's going to be in a position to stop it. They have not been able to extend outside of it just yet, but it doesn't matter. They got the third point and SSG's on the path.
Quadrant need to step it up here and now.
This is it.
The only answer they really have at this point is they need to match firepower with firepower. They're getting outslayed currently 41 kills to 31 kills in this game. So if they want to have a chance here, they really need to start slaying because objective efficiency only does so much. That's generally when you're around even slays. Clearly, Spacestation getting the better of them right now. Sica with this camo. Let's see what he can do to help create this opening. They're in a good spot to capture this fourth point, but they have to do that not just here. They have to do 3 more points in a row.
Oh, he's going to get that nade. Big kill. Does he get the other one as well, though? No, he does not. He was so focused on that player, making himself such a hard target for Eco. Just yet again showing why he's had so much success in Halo here and trying to go. Oh my goodness. He had no idea. He's letting him know. He's letting him know what's really good.
And those are heartbreakers. A situation where Legend assumed he was getting a back smack. Bound is checking every single corner and getting another back smack over on the Sica.
This is it's a carnival at this point. They're having a great time. Someone get some corn dogs. Want to go into a Ferris wheel, Dave? I don't know. It seems like Spacestation's having a great time out here, doing whatever the hell they want and getting away with murder.
The only Ferris wheels I've been seeing is Golden Boy's BR reticle going round and round these players.
Hell, no one can windmill like me. 3 points here, Spacestation Gaming. Eco still getting the kill even though he's flying away. And I think that SSG is feeling rather confident at this point in time. They have every right to be, given the positioning where they are. And the fact that Quadrant have really just struggled to be able to get inside of blue. This is a difficult one. And then on top of that, you remember you're going to rotate to a new hill, which gets even more challenging. You're really just asking a lot from Quadrant here, and SSG's hitting everything.
Yeah, Quadrant have no choice but to try. And 3 members down, Sica's the only one alive. Don't have many more push opportunities here. You have to not only push, you have to get Eco out of this hill. Then you have to jump in yourself and save as much time as you can. Pznguin has camo. Time on Pznguin's side. He's totally fine to run around somewhere else. Flank, get a kill. 0 damage come out of Legend there for a trade melee, and that is going to be devastating.
They're waiting for when that camel's going to drop down, which he does at the perfect time. For SSG, they get inside. They only have a few more to go. With that camo in, this is going to lock it up. And consistency is the name of the game as SSG strap a rocket ship to the winners finals once again at a Halo World Championship. SSG do it unlike anyone else, Dave. Truly.
Consistent all season long.
How is it you just like show up, you land, and then you're like, oh, by the way, we're gonna get top 3. that's nuts.
Guaranteed top 3, and we're not even to 4 p.m. here yet on Saturday, so SSG gotta be feeling good.
Quadrant, on the other hand, certainly.
They had their chances, those 2 games so close.
Yeah, you're right.
Just some slow starts on those 2. Game 3, stats not totally in their favor. We knew that one was going to be a struggle to come back, but you know, you lose some games that you maybe should win, or some close ones against SSG. It's gonna be tough to expect to take that series.
Well, and I also think too, like, we knew it was gonna be a struggle, but I did not expect SSG to control the map the way that they did. Quadrant looked as if they spawned up and they're like, all right, boys, what are we gonna do? And then everyone's just like there, waiting to do something. And they just couldn't, because SSG, every single time they had a thought, SSG was just on them, like white on rice. It's just, it's So impressive. I cannot continue to speak better about SSG and what they've managed to accomplish this year in competitive Halo. Very few teams in esports have been able to be as consistent as they are.
Yeah, they've just put on such performance, and what a domination of a overall scoreline. Yes, games 1 and 2 were close, but they got me feeling good. It's a 3-0. They're going into the winners bracket finals, guaranteed top 3, and you know they have their sights set on #1 here at Halo Worlds 2023.
And it's very, very doable for this team. Let's go ahead and hear from them because we got Bound standing by with the man Blaze himself. Blaze, take it away, brother.